Hi everyone. So myself Dr. Naveen. So today I am going to give a small lecture on introduction to microcontroller. So before start a microcontroller, we need to know about the basics about the processor. A processor is a digital device used to manipulate the information by using a digital circuits. So as like microprocessor, the microcontroller is also a type of a digital device or a integrated circuit. So microprocessor, so let's discuss about the microprocessor. So microprocessor can be defined as a CPU on a chip, that means central processing unit on a single chip. It has the block diagram of which consists of ALU, register unit, control logic and interface unit. So arithmetic logic unit, you know that arithmetic logic unit is used to perform the arithmetic and logic operations to manipulate the binary informations, and register unit, a temporary storage unit used to store the manipulated binary informations, and control logic, which is used to synchronize the operation of complete processor by using other peripherals, and interfacing unit used to interconnect the microprocessor with other devices. So let us come to our main topic, the microcontroller. So microcontroller is also a type of processor or an extended version of a microprocessor, because microprocessor has some disadvantages that it doesn't have any inbuilt memory or on chip memory. But in microcontroller, all the drawbacks of microprocessor is overcome, and it consists of a inbuilt memory, inbuilt IO and inbuilt serial ports. So here is a black diagram of microcontroller, which consists of, because microcontroller itself consists of microprocessor as a CPU, and it is also has inbuilt RAM, inbuilt ROM, inbuilt timer and counters, serial ports and IO ports, bus controller and oscillators and interrupt controllers. So we are going to discuss about some comparison between microprocessor and microcontroller. So microprocessor, we know that CPU on a chip, and microcontroller is a computer on a chip, because it incorporated with all memory and IO and timers and counters. Therefore it will be considered as computer on a chip. And microprocessor doesn't have any internal RAM, that is RAM, ROM and interrupt peripherals, but microcontroller has the inbuilt CPU along with RAM, ROM and other peripherals on a chip. So microprocessor needs an external bus to fetch the RAM and ROM, because it doesn't have any internal buses. But microcontroller has internal bus. It is enough to fetch the memory and IO devices. And microprocessor is high speed because there is no internal peripherals, but microcontroller has internal peripherals. Compared to microprocessor operation, it is very slow. Microprocessor can be applied for any general purpose application, but microcontroller is applied for only a specific purpose applications. And microprocessor is very complex and expensive, because in order to connect any external peripherals, we requires external bus and external structure. Therefore it is more complex in structure and it may cost more, therefore it is an expensive. But the microcontroller has inbuilt memory, inbuilt IO devices, therefore it is very simple in structure, and it is less expensive. So next we are moving towards the overview on a family of microcontroller, because microcontroller has a variety of classifications. So this classification is based on a word length and a manufacturing unit. So based on word length, it was classified into an 8-bit microcontroller, 16-bit microcontroller, and 32-bit microcontroller. 8-bit microcontroller, it processes 1 byte of a data. That means it can able to process 8-bit of information because it has 8-bit ALU, internal bus structure, and register word length. And its clock speed is 8 megahertz. And 16-bit microcontroller, it processes the 2 byte of information, that is 16-bit information it can able to process at a time. It has, because it has 16-bit ALU and 16-bit internal bus structure, its clock speed is 16 megahertz. And processor with 32-bit microcontroller, it has able to process a 4 byte at a time, because it has 32-bit ALU, internal bus structure, and IO ports, and its clock speed is 32 megahertz. So few families of 8-bit microcontroller, it's in Intel family of 8051, and that 16-bit microcontroller in Motorola 68HC16Z3, and 32-bit microcontroller is 68000 series of microcontroller will be considered as 32-bit microcontroller. Here is some comparison between the microcontroller families of 8051. So 8051 has the features of ROM of 4 kilobytes of memory and RAM of 128 byte, and timers of 2 timers are exist, and 32 pins of IO ports as exist, and serial port of 1 serial port exist, and interrupt sources 6 interrupt sources are exist. In 8052, 8 KB of ROM, 256 bytes of RAM, 3 timers, 32 IO ports, 1 serial port, and 8 interrupt sources. 8031 has 16 KB of ROM, 128 bytes of RAM, 2 timers, IO ports of 32 pin, and serial port, 1 serial port, and interrupt source as a 6. Similarly, other families of the microcontroller like Maxima and Atmel microcontroller family. So this is a classification based on the manufacturing unit. So each manufacturing unit a different part numbers. So 89C42 Maxim microcontroller family and 89C51, 89C52 will be considered as Atmel family. All are considered as a family of microcontroller. So RAM speed and ROM speed of different part number of microcontrollers is differ. So 89C420 has 16 KB of ROM, 256 RAM, IO ports pin with 32 pins, 3 timers, and interrupt 6 interrupt source, and which has the capability of voltage 5 volts. Similarly, 89C440, 89C450, and 89C51, and 89LV51, 89C1051, 89C2051, and these are having different features.